Hey guys, it's Lance from Christianity Minute. Now, I know this is a little unusual to be getting a video pretty close to midnight on Sunday night, but I put out a video earlier today regarding tattoos and how can a Christian have tattoos. I got a comment later that night from a YouTube user, WF4516. By the way, thanks for the comment and thanks for watching. His comment was this, and he had an excellent question. I just can't go to bed without giving some sort of answer. So here's an off-the-cuff, non-scripted response. His question is this: what are your thoughts about wedding bands? I work in an industry where I cannot wear jewelry due to safety reasons, yet wish to always have my band on me. Currently, no tattoos. Also, what about women who get eyeliner tattooed on? Unless they tell you, you may never know. And lastly, what about women who have fought and beaten breast cancer, but have paid a price on their body to do it? Some of these women choose to have it covered up to help get over it, and as a statement for making it. Boy howdy, I saw these and knew right away that I had to put those out there in a video. And like I said, this is just a quick video off the cuff, so please pardon my rambling a little bit. We're not going to go into any scripture right now, mainly because really all the scripture in the first video really is sufficient. It establishes that we do have influence, and influence matters more than anything else. I want to take these in kind of an odd order. I want to bring up the cancer patient first. Medical procedures are so important to get over, both psychologically and physically. And I understand reintegrating yourself back into society, especially after such a horrific event. I just saw my mother-in-law go through a round of chemotherapy, radiation and surgery for cancer that she had to go through. Bless her heart. It was so rough on her. She was constantly in our prayers, so we're worried sick about her. Now, granted, she's looks like in remission right now. Things look great. The outlook is good. But I would not. I probably wouldn't say a thing to her if I'd known she had gotten any kind of surgery or anything of that nature done. Now, she didn't have breast cancer or anything like that. What she had was internal. I don't want to go too much into it, but someone who's had breast cancer and wants to cover it up with a tattoo, there are ways to do that which would not affect influence at all, in which case I can't see a New Testament reason not to. In fact, if it's not going to affect your influence, I would tell that person, yeah, go for it. What a wonderful opportunity to help yourself get over this thing. Certainly, at certain hospitals, certain doctors do offer these procedures. It is a surgical procedure. There is a needle involved. So a lot of doctors, especially in cancer centers such as MD Anderson down here where I live, close to where I live in Houston. I live in Lufkin, which is a couple hours north. They offer programs like that. It's a great thing. It's done in such a way where it's done safely, with a little bit of anonymity, and it's done in such a way that nobody may ever know. I wouldn't see that affecting anybody's influence. As far as wedding bands, I know I'm the same way. I don't know what industry you're in. My dad never wore a wedding band. He was an airline mechanic. He worked on jet engines. I know that I wear my wedding band all the time, except for whenever I'm playing four mallets on a marimba or vibraphone or something like that. I do percussion. And in which case I take my ring off and I have a little clip on my keychain that for my truck keys, and it clips on there. It's always with me, and as soon as I'm done playing, I slip it right back on. To make a dedication like that, I am married, and that's a wonderful statement. There's nothing wrong with it. I couldn't see that affecting your influence either, with a minor exception. The idea of where do you get it done? I had a discussion the other day with a gentleman, and I used the example, hey, if I'm walking down the street and I really got to use the restroom, call in nature. But the only place that's available for me to use the restroom is inside of a liquor store. Would it be okay for me as a Christian to go into that liquor store simply to use the restroom? And the answer to that would be no. Well, there's nothing wrong with going to the bathroom. I mean, but what if someone were to see me? What if the person behind the counter who sees me come in, I might have to try to influence him someday. There is a level of influence going into a tattoo parlor. If someone's to see you, if someone was to know that you were there for some reason, that can affect your influence. Why were you really there? Not saying tattoo parlors are terrible places. I've been inside a tattoo parlor. I used to work for Jason's Deli. And there was a tattoo place called Firing Line Tattoo in Tyler that they'd order Jason's all the time for the staff. And a bunch of cool guys. Really interesting. I walk in there. There's always a weird smell in there. I don't know if that's just the ink from the tattoo parlor or what it was. I don't know. But I'd go in. I'd shoot the breeze with them a few minutes because, hey, I like tips. Nothing wrong with a tattoo parlor in general, but there is a note of influence there. Now, I was going in there wearing, Jason's Deli regalia, I guess the best way to describe it, big Jason's Deli thing on my truck. So I knew that people knew why I was there. It was to deliver po' boys, for goodness sake. But that would be the only caveat I'd have as far as wedding bands. But there are ways to do it, to have it done surgically, anonymously, and in such a way that it won't affect your influence. Regarding women who get eyeliner tattooed on, this is the one I balk at the most, because there is an element of vanity to that's hard to get over. Now, yes, it can be done where some people, may never know, and there are medical reasons to do it as well. But that one would be the hardest one for me to justify. But at the same time, is there anything wrong with tattoos according to New Testament scripture? Nope, not a thing. It's not spoken about. What it talks about is influence, and I'm getting a little cold in here, so I probably need to go to bed soon. But influence is where I'd really take a close look at that. Someone who's looking at their face and thinking, I want to try to improve on this, I would probably have a real discussion with them about the beauty that there is just in how they're made individually. But as far as the tattoo itself, no, can't find anything wrong with it. But influence. Definitely influence. So I hope that answers your questions. A lot of it takes place between the individual and God. It's not something that we would definitely want to condemn anybody for because it's not spoken about. I said I wasn't going to bring up scripture, but there is one place I do want to bring up. Let me pull up my Bible real quick so I can quote it for you directly. And it was regarding the eating of meat. Pulling it up now. I think it's in Corinthians. Let's see here. Try 1 Corinthians. Let's try chapter 10. See if that's Let's see here. Baptize Moses. Do not be idolaters. Oh, here we go. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23. It says, all things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. All things are lawful, but not all things build up. Let no one seek his own good, but the good of his neighbor. Eat whatever is sold in the meat market, without raising any questions on the ground of conscience. For the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. If one of the unbelievers invites you to dinner, and you're disposed to go, eat whatever is set before you, without raising any question on the ground of conscience. But if someone says to you, this has been offered as a sacrifice, then don't eat it, for the sake of the one who informed you, and for the sake of conscience. I do not mean your conscience, but his. For why should my liberty be determined by someone else's conscience? If I partake with thankfulness, why am I denounced because for what I give thanks? Let me read the next couple of verses here. So whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all for the glory of God. Give no offense to Jews or to the Greeks or to the church of God, just as I try to please everyone in everything that I do, not seeking my own advantage, but that of many, that they may be saved. Be imitators of me, as I am of Christ. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23, going through the first verse of chapter 11. Now, that would be a matter of conscience. Those things, when it comes to tattoos, if we're not talking influence, then it's a matter of conscience. I wouldn't get it done. I was talking with my wife a little earlier tonight. She wouldn't get it done either. If our daughter said that she wanted a tattoo, we'd have a discussion. But those are hard questions. And there's not a lot of doctrine on it. There's not a lot of scripture on it. Again, influence matters, but the tattoo itself doesn't. Alright, I've rambled on now longer in this video than I did in the initial video. So I really hope y'all have a good night. Again, everything I try to say, let me pull up my regular outro because I'm still relatively new at this. And so I want to be sure that I stay fairly consistent in everything that I try to do. Of course, I hope y'all have been enjoying these videos. I hope you enjoy this one. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, there's that thumbs down icon. I always work hard to make sure that all the things said are scripturally accurate. Any opinions, I try to state as opinions. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I think I've already said that. And if you want to see more from me in Christianity Minute, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want notifications. I typically post every Sunday night at 6 o'clock. This one's a little bit of an exception. And I look forward to seeing you next week on Christianity Minute. Oh, and one more thing. If you like a video like this, and you thought this one was cool, me just kind of rambling on, let me know in the comment section there too. Maybe we'll get more of them. God bless. Y'all have a good night.